If you can record it,
Okay.
okay, awesome. So we are recording this Zoom call for people who cannot get on. No worries, JC, we got your message. Um, okay, so girls, I want you guys, hopefully you've already been starting to jot down some questions and start firing them away. And Cameron, Carlin, tell them what you think about these questions. Okay, Bria, good. I'm glad you want to go first. Yep.
Okay, question I have is, would something to say to a college coach would be bad if I said, like, well, am I gonna, like, play? Like, is that bad? Does that come off as, like, snobby? Is that bad?
I think that's an important question, and I think it's about kind of how you phrase it. Like, if you're just like, am I gonna play? Yes or no? Like, that kind of comes off harsh. But if you are straight up and say, I really want to know what my role is going to be on the team, can you please explain to me what that's going to look like? That's more of a appropriate, I guess, way to ask that question, and they're going to know what you mean by that.
Okay, did you, like, ask anything like that? Like, so actually, wait, I have another one. Wait, okay, I have another one. So, you obviously got, like, really big schools contacting you, and you also got small ones that contacted you, did you?
Yeah.
So, like, how did you shut down the small ones if you chose to go to Tennessee? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really shut them down at all. I think I kind of thought the recruiting process was just very exciting, and I wanted to take as many calls as possible just to kind of get that experience. So it doesn't taking calls from smaller schools is completely fine and normal. And they if you're respecting their time and they're respecting yours, then that's great.
They'll appreciate it. Okay. So Bria, when you come to your decision, when you're talking to a school that you might, Carlin, what did you do, or Cameron, what did you guys do if you talked to a school that you had absolutely no interest in? How did you break it to them? Basically, I think she wants to know.
I think honesty is a great thing that coaches value a lot. Like, if a school reaches out to you that you know that there's no chance of you're going to, I think telling them, um, kind of just like, you're not on my top, options as of right now, but I really appreciate having the time to talk with you. But yeah, don't just sugarcoat it and say, oh, it was so great to talk to you. Like, just be honest with them and they'll appreciate that.
Agreed.
All right, who else has a question? Speak up, or I'm going to just jump on you when I see you. I'm scrolling up and down. Okay, Cecilia, what do you have? Cecilia, I can't pronounce her name right, probably.
Yeah, it's Celia.
Cecilia.
Yeah, so one of my questions, I'm still kind of writing some down, but what are just some general good questions to ask while you're on a call with a coach?
I definitely say kind of how the team's like culture is, because I feel like that was really big. I didn't realize how big that was until I got to Tennessee, and then realizing like the culture and the family like kind of aspect that they created among all of us, because I didn't realize that a lot of other schools struggled with kind of that family feeling. And I was like, I got to Tennessee and I was like, well, I just thought this was normal. And then I'd hear from other people from other schools like, no, a lot of us, there's a lot of drama, but just I feel like knowing how the team is going to be ran, and then just I guess how everybody kind of gets along.
Yeah. That's probably my, if not most important question I would ask, is what the culture is like. And then another question that I think is important, especially, because you're going to school not just to play softball, you're going there to get your degree. And if you are wanting to become a nurse or something that's going to require a lot of hours in the classroom and that kind of thing, I think it's important to express that to your potential college coach and ask those questions of, hey, like, what's it going to look like when I have student teaching or clinicals that go through practice time? Like, how am I going to be able to make that work? And understanding if some schools don't let you have those degrees and tell you to choose something else. So just asking questions like that have to go with your degree that you're wanting to pursue.
No, that was really good. Yeah, guys, if you're going to have a degree that's going to do clinicals or labs or anything like that, that is a very important question to ask the coaches, you know, when you set your time and everything to talk to them. That is a really huge one because I do know programs that told the girls, okay, you either have to change your major or, you know, look for something else. All right, Cecilia, do you have anything else?
Another one was like if a school that you're really looking at doesn't contact you, what's a good way to like follow up them or how often or kind of what would that look like, do you think?
Kim,
I've-
you want me or you?
Yeah, I would say just keep doing what you were doing beforehand. I mean, if you really want to go to that school and that's like your number one, I mean, that's kind of what I did. I just kept emailing, kept doing the same thing. And then eventually if it's meant to be, it'll happen. If not,
Yeah.
it's
And you also have to understand that September 1st is the most crazy day of the year for a lot of college coaches. Like they probably don't ever stop using their phone that day. So, and there's only 24 hours in a day and you're only up for probably around, 12 of them. So think about that, how many kids you can really talk to in that amount of time. So don't feel like just because they don't reach out to you right on September 1st that you're not on their radar. Like congratulate them or say, hope that September 1st went well. Still looking forward to hearing from you potentially, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I have a
so
question
girls-
along those lines. On the September 1st, typically, if a coach were to call you, how long do those conversations last, and how in depth do you actually get to go with them on the first day and the first phone call?
Yeah, I would say usually when you set up calls like that, it's pretty in depth. I think mine lasted probably between 15-30 minutes depending on the school. Some were longer, some were shorter. And that kind of just goes along with how interested you really are with that school. And I think that kind of falls in the player, because if a school's calling you on September 1st, then they're clearly very interested in you. And then it's your job to, cut it short if you're not really pursuing that school. And if you are, then to lengthen it and get as many questions answered as you possibly can. Yeah.
because girls, listen, the thing that's really different now, I think, than when you and Cameron went, is that now you can choose to take an official or unofficial. So that's going to be a question you're going to want to ask programs, okay? Because Bria, I was talking to one of the schools on your list about, well, is this going to be an official or unofficial? And they're going to let you have the choice. Okay, just so you know, you are allowed only 5 official visits between your junior year and senior year. I'm right about that, aren't I, Cameron? The 5? I'm pretty sure that's right. You're not sure. Okay.
Dana,
yeah.
Dana, I think they changed that.
Again, another rule change? That's odd.
No, it's been like that like, even last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it 5 each year? No, because, well, I do know, like, Ariel Kruger, she took her official visit. No, I do know this. Well, I don't know the number. Then I'll get the number correct. But I do know. Let's say, Bria, you take an official visit to University of Alaska. Okay, right now, University of Alaska, you take an official visit. You choose that school. When you go on your visit as your senior year, you will have to pay for your stuff. The programs can only pay for 1 official visit. Okay, so this is kind of cheeky, but I kind of tell girls, hey, if you're really interested in that program and they might not be your number 1 program and you have your number 1 program sitting in that mix, try to get an official visit. An official visit entails they pay for your travel, your hotel, and everything when you get there. Unofficial visit, you are responsible for paying for your travel, your hotel, your food, but they can still give you football tickets, or schools that don't have a football program, they can give you, basketball tickets, or they'll take you to a game or something. Does that make sense to everyone? So each program can only give you 1 official visit. It's how you decide. So I think, Carl and Cameron, do you think that's a good question to ask the coaches? Do you offer official visits as a junior?
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like just being kind of knowing what you're going into and just kind of scheduling like what your priorities are with is this the school that I really want to go see? And I guess kind of scheduling around that.
So,
Yeah.
so I just looked it up. Softball is allowed unlimited official visits, but you only go to the school one time.
Okay, there you go. So that's great. But like, Bria, if Kent was to call you, I wouldn't do an official visit because you're right there, unless you want to stay in a hotel and have everything paid for. But that's just a good question, I think, to ask them. Okay, so girls, this is something that's different that Cameron and Carlin did not have to deal with. Is all the new rule changes about the rosters. Okay, you might want to ask what's your roster going to look like. That you can tell them that you've heard that it's going to be capped off at 25. Ask them to explain how they see that happening. Because I know like Stanton in Indiana, she only likes to carry 19. Her administration has told her she needs to carry 25. Do you think that's a good question, guys?
Yeah.
Carl and Cameron, you guys asked that question when you were getting recruited, didn't you?
I don't think it was.
I didn't ask that question specifically,
didn't-
but I do think it's a good question. Yeah.
I think it's a good question for now because of the whole rule change. It just wasn't like really that kind of. There was no rule really back then, so. But as soon
Okay,
as-
I thought, Carlin, I
I
thought
would
that was
say
a question
no.
you asked, Colin, because I remember talking to you about roster sizes, you know, because if you're going to go to University of Oklahoma and she's carrying 34 people, or if you go to Tennessee and what does Karen carry at Tennessee?
We have
23?
25.
Sure.
25? Oh, okay. So she's right on it. All right, Carlin, as a pitcher / two-way player, wasn't one of your big questions asking if you're going to get an opportunity to hit?
Yeah, so at the time I did want to hit in college, so I was
Explain that to them how that evolved.
yeah, so obviously I hit all through high school, all through travel ball. Wanted to hit in college. I was really, that was a lot of my concerns was on my calls asking, how they felt about pitchers that also hit. And I think coaches are going to be honest with you in that question, like, hey, this is how we do it. You can kind of see it as well with their lineups. Like if none of their pitchers are hitters, then that kind of is a dead giveaway. But then at the same time, it's really just about honesty and just saying like, this is what I'm comfortable with. Like, how do you feel about it?
And then when you got to Tennessee, didn't you change your mind about wanting to be a hitter?
Yeah, once I got to Tennessee, I realized that it takes a lot to pitch and hit in college, and I wanted to be a really great pitcher, and I was willing to sacrifice hitting to be a great pitcher. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Izzy Tart, you got a question?
So Carlin, you committed on September 1st. So walk me through that process. What was that like? Was it an immediate yes for you, or like what was that like?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a funny story in my family because it was a very spur of the moment thing. So midnight hit of September 1st, and my phone, it got blew up, and I had all these calls scheduled. Like my whole day was pretty much filled with me sitting and talking to college coaches. I was super excited, obviously. Got to make all my calls, and then when Tennessee called, which was very, very early in the day, mind you, they called and I talked to them for a very long time. Chancellor Plowman was on the Zoom call with us. It was insane. And then in that moment, I mean, I was very young still, and I knew Tennessee was definitely one of my top schools. And so I kind of committed without really realizing that I committed. It was just kind of like a gut reaction, like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the place I want to be. And so, yeah, I said yes. And then everybody on the Zoom call was like, what? They like didn't believe that I said yeah. And so then I had to take all the rest of my calls that day. Still just hearing everybody out, because like with the verbal commitment, like it's not official yet, obviously. Like you can, change your mind. But I had to take all the rest of my calls out of just respect for those schools. And then after September 1st, I called Karen again that night and just kind of went over everything, like, yeah, this is where I want to be. And then the next day I had to call all of the other schools that I had talked to and tell them that I had committed. So that was the toughest part. But yeah, I
No,
think
but
just
that was hilarious, Carlin. Do you
Yeah.
remember, Carlin, after you got off the phone with her, you called me and you're like, Coach, I think I just did something I wasn't supposed to. I'm like, what? You're like, I just said yes to them. I'm like, yes to who? Tennessee. And I'm like, you did what? So I'm like, okay, well, take the rest of your calls. And then I called Karen, and I'm like, please don't announce this for a few days. Oh, it was hilarious. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah.
That's the funniest experience I've had yet. But girls,
Best
that's what was
decision I
different for
could've made.
them. Huh? What, Karen?
I said best decision I could have made though. Trust your gut.
Yeah. Okay, Izzy, do you have any other questions?
What is the hardest part of recruitment itself? What would y'all say would be the hardest part of it?
I would kind of say like with me, it was like psyching myself out because a lot of the time, like they can't talk to you. So then you're like, are they getting my messages? Are they seeing like me improve or like working this hard? And I just kind of say stick to what you're doing, and don't let all the outside like chaos kind of affect you. Because it's gonna be a lot no matter what. And I think if you just kind of prioritize what you want to focus on and kind of minimize all the distractions that come up with it, it helped me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, especially nowadays, I would say that the biggest thing is having to worry about social media and what your teammates are doing, what people from other teams are doing, like just like kind of that comparison that's always out there. I think if you can stay away from the comparison game as much as you can, like it's your own recruitment journey and you shouldn't expect it to be like someone on your team, or it shouldn't be like anybody else's. So just know that it's your own and that it doesn't have to look the same and it might be different for you. So just knowing that that's your journey.
That was a good question. Okay, great. Kate.
So like whenever you get a call, like do they ask you like how does that go down? Like how does it begin? Like are they asking you questions like where do you start?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of times when a school does call you on September 1, that's because they're very interested in you. So that call is probably they're expecting you to kind of lead the conversation. Like they want to feel you out and see how you're feeling towards their school. They're probably going to want you to basically lead the conversation, asking questions about the school, about, their coaching staff, kind of things we mentioned before about the culture and anything that's going to be important to you if you were to commit there. And then a lot of times when they call on September 1st, they're probably going to give you an offer. And if they don't, then it's fine too. They're probably just wanting to hear more about you, let you know that they are recruiting you heavily and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think though, Carlin, Cameron, isn't the initial call going to be just to like set up a time to call back, or will some of them want to do like that conference call?
I think it probably just depends. I mean, either way, if they want to set up a later call, then I mean, you'll have more time to prepare for that exact school with your research and everything. But I say it kind of goes both ways. I guess it just
Yeah.
depends.
Okay.
I
And-
have a
and keep
question.
Prepare for both.
Okay, Cameron,
No.
Camerlin, what's up?
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna ask, like, what should I say to them when they offer, like, if they offer me on the call? Like, how do I, like, not commit exactly like Carlin was saying she did, but, like, how do I, like, direct that kind of part?
Yeah, you would want to say thank you, obviously, because that's a compliment. Thank you, and then tell them that you're still exploring your options, that you want to take the rest of your calls and not rush anything, and that you're excited to further communicate with them and you'll get back to them. Yeah.
Okay, Ava, do you have a question?
How many Tennessee camps did y'all go to before you committed?
Yeah.
Well, Apparently I found out after I committed that I was invited to one of the camps with Carlin and Briley, a previous UT player 2 years ago. That was on our travel ball team. However, I never found the email. So I technically only went to one camp for them and I was already committed. So, and
But
that
no,
kind
you went to a camp when you were 8 years old.
Well, 8
There's
years
a
old.
Cameron, there was a picture of you when you were 8 years old at Tennessee.
that was ETSU softball game against UT and I just went. That
Oh
was
my God. Karen thought you were that was taken at a camp.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well there you go. There's your answer. She went to one. Carlin, how many did you go to?
One UT.
I went to Tennessee Christmas camp when I was like 10. And then after that, I think I probably went to a couple of pitching clinics, maybe 3 or 4, and then the prospect camp that Cameron was talking about.
Okay. Yeah, because girls, listen, camps are important. I'm pretty strict on them. I don't want you guys going just to go. I try to get as much information from the coach as possible, but they are important. Okay. If you go there and have a phenomenal camp, and you walk away from it not getting any love from the coach, don't think that that's because they're not interested. I've talked to many coaches who say, yeah, we love the kid. We want to see her in the game. I've had kids go to that are gamers. They absolutely suck at camps. And that's when I do the talking to the coach and say, hey, this kid is not a camper. She's a gamer. All right. But yes, camps are important to go to. Okay. Ava, do you have any other questions?
No.
Kate, do you have a question? Katie Davis. Sorry, Katie Davis.
What do you like? Do you like if your like top people on like your list like doesn't contact you, do you still like keep contacting them?
Yeah, I would say if that's your dream school and that's where you really want to go, definitely still keep reaching out. You still have from your junior year all the way through your senior year to commit. So just know that you don't have to rush the process. And like Cameron said, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Kate, did you have another question or no?
No.
No.
All mine have been asked.
Okay. Let me think. Jolie, do you have a question?
So what other like personal questions could you ask coaches to make them seem more interested in you and like you more? That makes sense.
I think that if you can ask questions that are kind of that they're not asking all the time, like, oh, what do you guys do for fun on your off days? Or what do you guys do? Like things that are more personal and not just like your typical, what does the spring look like? What does your off season look like? Like something that's gonna be like, oh, well, we haven't been asked that yet. Something that's just a little different. Oh my God.
Okay. Hannah, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Jana, do you guys have a question?
I just had a question if like how long does an offer like stay? Like how long can you take till you like accept the offer?
Good question.
I think that just depends on the school, probably. That's probably also a great question to ask the coaches that you reach out to, or sorry, the coaches that reach out to you. And if they offer you, that would be something that you'd probably want to ask, like when would you like to hear back from me, that kind of thing.
Okay, very good question. Katie Absher, do you have any questions?
I don't have any.
I hope you feel better, girl. Okay.
Thank you.
Lane, do you have any questions?
I was just gonna ask like the biggest, like most important thing that you looked for before committing.
Oh, she can say something else. I don't know. Okay. I would kind of say, I mean, Tennessee was only like an hour and a half away from me, so I had grown up going there over and over and over as a kid. So it already kind of was like a familiar place with me, but I think just what I said earlier, the whole family aspect and kind of atmosphere there, um, it definitely helps, especially coming in as a freshman. A lot of you are probably going to be like, you're gonna be like you're gonna be away from home. It's gonna be stressful, kind of trying to learn that time management. And I think just kind of feeling out the situation and where you think fits best. I just personally liked that Tennessee just felt exactly like a family. So
Yeah. Um, Mine's very similar to Cameron's. I can't remember who just told me this, but I think it might have been Savannah's dad, Kevin. But I'm pretty sure it was him. Or somebody told me, he was like, wherever you choose to go to school, make sure that if they were to take softball away from that place, that you would still want to call that place home. So you don't want to be somewhere that you're going to be miserable if you're not in the softball field, because softball's going to suck sometimes and you're not going to want to, even think about softball. And then if you're still in a place that you're miserable at, it's just not going to be fun. So Knoxville, like Cameron, she, I grew up in her backyard. Same thing for me. And I love the place. So that was kind of a big thing for me as well.
Okay. How about Emma Asmir, do you have any questions? We're almost done.
I do not. I'm still learning like the whole process. I'm a 2028, so I'm like just like
Okay.
listening to everyone.
Okay.
I had
Lisa,
another
do you have any?
question.
Yes?
I had another question, if that's okay. What do you think some important things to know or like do your research about? Because I know there's like general things that you can just look up about a school, but are there any like specific important things that you think are good to know about a school?
I mean, I think education's the number one. Maybe what I know a lot of people don't know right when they get into college, like if they want to go to graduate school and if those programs have good graduate schools. So I mean, it kind of all for me was like a priority of education after, because as Carlin said, softball's only 4 years or however long you play. So having a place to set you up well for after those 4 years is really, really important. So maybe just researching, maybe like I think there's like networking things and I don't know, like conventions that you can go to that are available at the university you want to go to. It was something important for me as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the key thing would be, you're going to this university for for academic purposes, number one. So understanding that, and then another thing is you're going to be living here for 4 years. So, research the area, research, what's around campus. Am I going to feel safe here? Is it going to suck for me because it's a 6-hour flight home? Like just, knowing that kind of thing that might make you feel a little more comfortable knowing prior to.
Cameron and Carlin, because you guys are in an SEC school. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just because I got a call coming in. Because you guys are in an SEC program, and this is what I want to tell the girls. Different divisions are going to, dictate how much time you actually get of personal time. So SEC, it being in a Power 4, is one of the top ones. How much time of your life is dedicated to softball, would you say? Whether it's going to functions, whether it's going to practice games or whatever. Would you say softball consumes 85% of your life at college or what?
Yeah, I'd say that's 85, 90 about around there. That's why I think it's so important to pick a place that you know you're gonna love, the softball side and just the off time side. Because I think right now we're in 8-hour weeks, and then I think in like September 9th I think that's when we go to 20-hour. So it's definitely not takes up, but definitely is majority of the time that we're doing is going to be at softball. So, yeah.
And you guys have a lot of events that you go to on the side, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. But you also got to think like softball, like we also like we love being around our team. Like we choose to be with our team, and we choose on our off days to still go and hang out with each other. So it's also a choice. Like as long as you're managing your time and like you have given off days. So how you choose to use those off days is completely up to you. And pretty much every day you can expect that you're gonna have something involving softball, whether that's physical or just like something it's gonna happen every day, like a little bit of something. So just managing your time and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, no girls have asked a question. Cameron, Carlin, would this be a smart question for them to ask about do they have like an office that helps you with NIL stuff? Is that a good question for them to ask programming?
I would say especially now since it's grown, definitely bring that up. We are really fortunate at Tennessee to have the Lady Vol Booster Club, and Carlin is really involved with that. But I would definitely say because there's a lot of stuff going into softball, and if you can get a lot out of softball with just your name, image, and likeness. So it's kind of rewarding to be able to get that because you're working so hard.
Yeah, I also think it's important too. We also have because the Lady Vol Booster Club is a third-party organization that puts together NIL events, but also within Tennessee there is an NIL, I think the title is the NIL coordinator, who basically provides resources, financial stuff, help, and things for you as an athlete. And kind of being just aware if a program has that or not, it can be really beneficial. And they're going to set you up for success if you have questions or anything like that. But yeah, just giving you extra resources.
Because girls, the reason I brought that up is because right now, Cameron, Carlin, Ian got his first NIL deal, and I actually had the conference call, navigated everything, but now because the school that my son's going to, there is no NIL department or coordinator. His coach has no clues about NILs, and so here I am online trying to find contracts to make. I think, Carlin, tell me if I did good. I got him $1,000 for the first 6 months.
Yeah, that's great.
Is that really good?
Yeah. Wait, where's the one from?
Huh? No, it's BS Sports. It's some kind of pitching net thing.
I saw that.
You guys saw the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
So, yeah, and I think you liked it, you guys. But anyways, because he's gotten so many hits on it, I talked to the owner.
My boyfriend's over here, Dana. I think he wants you to be his agent.
There you go. That's what I'm supposed to be, not a coach. I'm supposed to be a baseball agent. No, but anyways, so we secured that deal. I only did it for 6 months because after 6 months, I said if they sell a lot of product, and plus if they sell over 10 under him, he's going to get a percentage from each one over that within the first 6 months. And after that, if he does have if they sell quite a few items because of his whatever, it's going to go up the next 6 months.
That's great.
Okay. But girls, that is important. Also, another important thing to ask, don't you think, guys, is do they offer tutoring? Correct? You guys have tutoring and stuff?
Yes, we have an amazing place at Tennessee. It's called the Thornton Center, and each sport either has their own academic advisors or they double up with some academic advisors, but we're very lucky to have Denise, which is our personal academic advisor, and she's kind of like academic advisor, second mom, therapist. Like you literally can go in there and talk to her about anything, which she also added to the whole family aspect, but she will literally do anything for you. And I think that's definitely a big question, is asking what the kind of like academic aid there is with that, because I mean, especially as a freshman, high school is way different than college. And so just having an extra support system is really helped me out.
Okay, Landry, do you have a question?
No, I don't.
You're good? Okay. Is there anyone I missed on here? Because I'm trying to do this on my phone. Is there anyone I missed that has a question, or anyone who's already asked one? Do they have a question? Because we can probably wrap this up. Anyone?
Wait, I have one more question. With like, so since you guys are an SEC school, do you guys like often play like Big Tens, like Pac-12s? Like, do you like play like all ACC? Like, do you play all them? Like, does the competition differentiate? Like, what's your like view, or like, do you like stick to SEC? Like, what's it like in that department?
In preseason, we try and kind of play teams from kind of a little bit of all over. Now we won't like have a set schedule where we play teams outside of our conference, but like in the fall we play different teams, and then into January we'll play preseason tournaments, kind of like where we go to like we've gone to Mexico, we've gone to California, Florida for just like tournaments where you'll get to see teams outside your conference that are also Power 5. So yeah.
Yeah, preseason you guys typically play, you guys do a mixture of playing Power 4s as well as mid-majors, correct?
Yes.
Because you guys are not going to play anyone within your conference, I'm pretty sure. No. They don't want to show the what they got. All right, girls. What, Cameron?
We're playing Kentucky twice this fall.
No way. You guys are playing Kentucky?
At home and then away for our last fall game.
Carlin, is that normal?
That's not normal, no.
I didn't think it was. Okay, well, I guess Karen wants to see what she's got. No. Okay, girls, does anyone have anything else? Carlin, Cameron, you got any comments or anything else left to tell these girls?
I'd just say enjoy the process. It's fun, and don't make it as big as it might sound, because it's a short time. Everything I've realized, time goes by so fast, and I can't even believe that I'm a junior in college now. I still feel like being like trying out for Dana's team was like 2 months ago. Like I honestly feel like it's just gone by so fast. So just try to slow down the time as much as you can and just enjoy every second of it.
Yeah. Good luck. I think September 1st and your whole recruiting process should just be exciting. And then last thing I think that you guys can take away and apply this to your calls and when you're dealing with college coaches is to communicate in a mature way. Like when you are on the phone call with them, talk like you are not nervous or anything like that. Like be confident with what you say. Karen is very big on introducing yourself well and, being shoulders back when we speak and that kind of thing. So just kind of applying that to your phone calls, be very professional, give them your attention. And like Cameron said, have fun with it. It's your journey. So yeah.
Guys, this is a marathon. Don't turn it into a sprint. I think that's very important to say, okay? Well, Carlin, Cameron, I love you guys to death. You are amazing with everything you guys do and how you give back to your fellow Carolina Elite sisters. We appreciate you. Coach Adam, thank you so much. This is Ann Binder. I've got several new girls on this that I haven't even really gotten to get out on the field for a long time. Miss Ann Binder, Miss Lisa, thank you so much for arranging this Zoom call because I'm very IT challenged still. And yeah, girls, if you have any messages or whatever or questions that you think of, put it on the group me, please, because it's like I'm getting messages everywhere. I'm getting private group me's, text messages, messages on group me. Someone even DM'd me on Twitter, and God knows I'm lucky I can post things on Twitter. So just try and keep everything on group me because that might help answer questions for everyone else. All right, get a notebook. I can't stress this enough. Please get a notebook. All right, so you can keep track of everything. All right, everyone, you guys have a wonderful night. Adam, you have anything to say?
No, I don't.
Well, we appreciate your guys' time, Cameron, Carlin, and I can't wait to see you guys.
I can't wait to see you.
You too.
All right, you take it easy, y'all. Bye.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you, girl.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye, y'all. Okay, how do I get off? How do I get off? Leave.